Hello everybody, welcome to me and the light flares. As you can tell by the title of this video, it is a book haul because I've recently purchased the 5 books that I still needed for my 26 classics that I want to read in 2026 list. The 5 that I didn't have a copy of yet. So you and me together are gonna go through those 5. I haven't actually opened the package yet. So I'm gonna hope that everything in here is what it's supposed to be, because I did buy these secondhand, and I'm mostly confident that they will actually turn out to be English, but I'm never sure. Ordering stuff in Germany is always a little bit of a risk, because you never really know what you're gonna get. Ooh, that's got a bit of damage on it. But that's probably from being in the package now. Anyway, so it looks like everything actually is English this time, which is great. So, shall we go through my 5 books that I still needed? The first of which being Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. This is the one that has a little bit of, not really damage, it's just that this little part of the heart was flipped up. So I'm gonna have to somehow flip it back and make sure that it lies flat. Maybe put another big heavy book on top of it so that it will lie flat. But anyway, I have a copy of Lolita, and this actually, I'm so glad I bought the second hand because I could not find a copy of this with this specific cover new. I would have had to have bought a different version. So I'm actually glad I got second-hand copies for all of these, because I mostly have got the covers that I actually wanted, which is always great. Oh no. See, this is... I was too excited too quickly, because it turns out, in fact, this is not in English. It is not. It is in some other language, probably Polish. This is Polish. How fun! I don't actually know if I can return a second-hand book, but we'll find out. So I was too excited far too soon. So I don't have a copy of Lolita because I don't read Polish. Anyway, there's that. That's quite sad. I really hope not all of these... Okay, this one is in English. I'm just going to really quickly check that all of the rest of them are actually in English, because otherwise I'm going to be a little bit sad. Okay, everything else is in English. Thank the good heavens. I only made one mistake. I only made one mistake. Anyway, okay. So, the next one is The Witches of Eastwick by Joan Updike for my You book. I don't really know much about this book. I know that they made a movie out of it, and I'm pretty sure that Cher is in the movie The Witches of Eastwick with, is it Susan Sarandon and I don't know. Anyway, but I don't really know what the story is about, except that it's about 3 witches who somehow get into a little bit of trouble involving a man, I think, as far as I know. But anyway, that's my copy of The Witches of Eastwick. Then the next book I have is Picnic at Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay. And this is a book that I've actually had on my to-read list for quite some time, so I'm really excited to have a copy of this book. The other Penguin copy, you know, the Penguin classics where they have the black band at the bottom and a beautiful picture at the top. I quite like that cover as well, because I feel like the picture depicts or gives you a sense of what the story is about, or what the story, the vibe of the story, if you will. But I quite like these very plain Penguin. What are these? Penguin classics. Which version of Penguin classics? Popular Penguin classics as well. So there's that. Then the next on my list is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson for T. And I have actually got absolutely no idea what this book is about. But I know that Hunter S. Thompson was a little bit of a crazy person. He had a very interesting lifestyle. Let's put it that way. And I kind of want to see what this is all about. Obviously, this is a very popular book, and it's been, I think, made into a movie as well. Or a series at some point, probably more than once. This seems like it's a memoir of sorts. Because there's also Fear and Loathing in different places. It's not only in Las Vegas that Hunter S. Thompson had experienced Fear and Loathing in. But this is the most popular one. It's probably because it's the most crazy. But anyway, I kind of really want to keep this copy of Lolita. Just, I don't know why. Because I like the cover, but also just because it's so hilarious that I have bought a Polish copy of Lolita, even though I don't speak a single word of Polish. I can say one word in Polish. And that's all. I can only say one word. And that is the word for yes. That's literally the only word I can say. So if I find the word yes in that book, I'll be reading all of the yeses. And that's all I'll be saying. The last book that I have bought is Zazie in the Metro by Raymond Queneau. Which, thank you very much to the person who suggested when I made my video about the 26 classics I wanted to read. Thank you very much to the person who suggested I check out Raymond Queneau's work for my Q books. I'm so sorry, I do not remember your name, and I have not had the forethought to go and look up your name on the comments of that video. But I will put your comment on the screen. Okay. I think they suggested actually that I read Exercises in Style, but I could not find a copy of Exercises in Style specifically on this website that I was looking at in English. I could only find it in French, and then in probably also Polish or Romanian or some other language, which is not helpful to me because I don't speak any of those languages. So I had to get a copy of Zazie in the Metro, but I am going to find a copy of Exercises in Style at some future point. Next year, when I'm allowed to buy more than 10 books again. So, there's that. But even this story sounds really interesting. So, 4 out of 5 is not a bad ratio of books that actually turned out to be what I wanted them to be. But I will have to figure out this whole Lolita thing, because I'm fairly certain that I looked specifically at an English copy of this book. And now to have been sent a not English copy is a slight disappointment. That's my little haul for you. Very short, very snappy. I don't have anything else to say about these books because I haven't read them and I don't really know much about them. But I will be reading them at some later point this year. Most of them are for the latter half of the year. I think the closest one I am to reading is Picnic at Hanging Rock. Yes. And then technically I should be getting to Nabokov right after that. Or 2 letters after that. But I'll have to find a copy of the book first. Anyway, that's my problem to go and figure out at a later time. Thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed my interesting and somewhat fatal haul. I will be seeing you all again in another video at some point in the future. I'm not entirely sure when that will be yet, because I don't know what I'm going to be filming next. But anyway, thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed having you here. and I shall see you again anon. Bye.